Welcome. Namaste. Come to find a comfortable, stable, balanced, and supported seat in your chair. So that's a lot of adjectives right off the bat. Stable, so that you're well supported and comfortable. Balanced, so that you're not pitching over to one side or leaning too far forward or too far back. And the pelvis is nice and neutral. The tail is heavy. And the pubic bone is lifting ever so slightly. The tendency, most people, and this may not be true for you, but most people tilt forward with their pelvis. But if you find that when you're sitting down, your tail is already heavy and your pubic bone is already lifting, then that instruction is obviously not for you. You want to do the opposite. Whatever it takes to make your pelvis level so that it's a nice bowl. And then the thighs like free-flowing rivers of energy right out of the pelvis. So you're watching that the legs aren't rolling out or rolling in. And then the feet are placed such that the ankles are right underneath the knees. Feet pointing straight ahead and the inner edges of the feet are parallel. And draw the hands together in prayer position in front of the heart, a gentle pressure, palm to palm. Take a deep breath in and sigh it out. And do that again. Deep breath in. And if you haven't already, allow your eyes to close. So the upper eyelid is simply resting on the lower eyelid. And take another deep breath. For a few moments, we'll turn our attention to our breath. Breathing in and out through the nose, begin to very gradually grow your breath. So that each inhalation is only the smallest measure, longer, slower, and deeper than the previous one. There's no need to hurry. Just let the breath grow gradually and organically. And then when you find a nice, easy rhythm, smooth, steady breath, turn your attention for the next few breaths in particular to the exhalation. Noticing the body's natural response to letting the breath go. Give yourself over to the downward and inward flow of energy that accompanies every exhalation, allowing the tail to drop and the abdomen and shoulders to soften. Take a few exhalations to release all expression from the face, soften the space between the eyebrows, forehead growing broad and smooth, relaxing the skin at the temples. As the fullness of the lips lightly rest against one another, separate the teeth and feel the full weight and volume of the tongue rest in the low jaw. And on your next exhalation, scan the body, do all of that again. Sit down, soften. Don't lose what you've established, but turn your attention now to the body's natural response to taking a deep breath in. And give yourself over to the upward and outward flow of energy that accompanies every inhalation without abandoning the inward and downward flow that you've already established through the exhalation. So the rib cage floating up out of the anchor of the pelvis, becoming buoyant and tall and spacious, expanding from the center to the periphery. So we're stable and steady, soft and calm, tall and spacious and buoyant, all at the same time. After your next inhalation, on the exhale, tuck the chin, bow just ahead. Taking a moment in this gesture of humility and reverence to surrender the wisdom of the brain to the wisdom of the body, to surrender the ego to the heart, and invite the heart to be what guides you in your practice today. with the intention of meeting yourself with compassion, patience, and respect. And we'll seal those intentions by joining our voices in the sacred sound of Om. Inhaling as the head floats up. Blinking the eyes open, a little smile, and release the hands. Use the muscles of the core to walk your hips forward just a little bit so that you're sitting at the middle of the chair if you're not already, and then, of course, repositioning the feet. And then walk the feet in toward the midline, gently squeezing the legs together, squeezing the ankles and the feet together. And release the arms down. Now on the inhale, reach the arms forward to come up. Drop the tail, drop the shoulders, harden the elbows. So in reality, you're up maybe a little less up than mine. Your arms may need to go a little bit wider to soften the shoulders. Whatever shape your body takes, let that be second in importance to how you feel. Piercing the chair with the buttock bones, piercing the sky with fingers. Take one more deep breath in, and as you exhale, extend forward. You can reach forward with the arms. If that's too much stress or strain for your back, then immediately bring your hands to your thighs. Don't stretch your back. And maybe the forearms, elbows come to the thighs, and maybe the arms can stay extending forward. And then turn your attention to your feet and use the legs, maybe pushing the earth forward, subtle movement, drawing the earth back or pressing straight down. But keep extending the spine, so not collapsing down, but reaching forward with the sternum and the crown, and then let yourself come all the way forward and round the back. Let the head hang, unless you have uncontrolled high blood pressure, cervical stenosis, osteoporosis of the cervical spine, detached retina, glaucoma, recent eye surgery, vertigo, or migraine headache. Those conditions, you want to keep the neck a natural extension of the spine. Don't let the head hang. If you have one of those conditions and you're working with keeping the neck a natural extension of the spine, all four sides of the neck equally long. So no stress or strain on one side of the neck more than another. Otherwise, we're letting the head hang and the weight of the head creating traction for the back body. So the pelvis is heavy, the head is heavy, and in between, the spine is stretching. One more nice deep breath here. Sigh it out. Soften anything, anywhere. And then using the hands at the thighs or stretching the arms forward and extend the spine. And slowly, with a heavy tail and a light heart, rise up. Use the legs strength to help you come up. And reach the arms out to come down. Keep the palms turned away. And inhale, reach the arms out to come up. And then exhale in front of you. Turn the palms away. Inhale, reach out to come up. And exhale, reach forward to come down. So dividing the consciousness between the parts of the body that are not moving and maintaining stability, in Sanskrit, that's sthira, steadiness. That's all of the body parts except for the arms. And then sweetness, ease of movement in the parts of the body that are moving. So soften the muscles around the shoulder joint to allow the arm bone to move more freely through the shoulder. The next time that you're stretching the arms up, we'll pause. One more deep breath, and we'll reverse the direction, exhaling down. And then we'll inhale, arms up, and exhale, reaching out, back, and down. Inhale, stretch the arms forward and up. And exhale, reach out. Now really reach out through the fingers, as if there was something to touch that's just out of your range, all the way around. All the way. Good. And the next time that the arms are lifted upward, we'll pause once more. And if not already, bring the legs together. Give the legs a little squeeze. When we draw energy into the midline by compacting the body, we're always strongest. Then release just the left arm. And imagine you've got a heavy weight, about 20 pounds in your left hand, and it's drawing you over to the left. And then to come up, there's 20 pounds of resistance. You have to use the muscles of the right side of your waist to come up. So exhaling, leaning over, stay for one breath, in and out, and then inhale, rise up. Exhale, leaning over, refining by spinning the left back ribs forward, lifting the sternum, and taking that right shoulder back, maybe even gazing to the right, and inhale, come up. One more time, over you go. Root that right buttock bone down into the seat. Maybe take the left arm up to mirror the right arm, or even interlace the fingers and release just the pointer finger. Lift the sternum. The thumbs take the arms back any amount for one more breath. And inhale up. Release the interlace if you have it. Stretch both arms up. Take a deep breath and release just the right arm. 20 pounds in the right hand, drawing you over to the right. And then that resistance of 20 pounds, pulling yourself back up with the muscles of your waist. Keep your tail heavy and your jaw soft. And imagine that you're leaning in this lateral flexion in between two panes of glass. So you don't want to fall forward or go back. And a nice straight line coming over. Rooting down in the left buttock bone. That's where you're stretching from. And it's more important than where you're stretching to. If I let that buttock lift, I can go much further. My ego's really happy. I'm impressed, but nothing happens. It's like two ends of the elastic band following each other. Next time you come over, we'll pause. Spin those right back ribs forward, lift the sternum, take the left shoulder back, and maybe the right arm can come up some amount. Might be able to interlace the fingers, release just the pointer finger, and then traction the left arm with the right arm with a smile and an uplifted heart for one more breath. And inhale up and exhale to release the arms down. Good. Take the feet wide, heel, toe, walk the feet out nice and wide. And then using the muscles of the waist again, walk your hips forward toward the front of your chair. So whatever direction your kneecap points in, that's the direction you want your toes to point in to protect the knee. So if you have the toes turning in an opposite direction of the knee, if they go out, for example, it's going to put stress on the medial or inner ligament of the knee. So toes and knees pointing in the same direction. For just a moment, explore this subtle sensation. See what happens if you push the earth away with your feet. Newton's law of physics, when there's energy in one direction, it's met with equal energy in the opposite direction. It's constantly at play in our yoga practice. And then relax that subtle energy. And then subtly draw the earth towards you with your feet and see what happens. There'll be a reaction. There'll be a response. Notice what it is. And then relax that and press the feet straight down. And then based on what you just experienced, you'll decide what's in your best interest as we carry on through this shape in the lower body and do some fun things with the upper body. If you want to create a strong and straight left arm, not to wrench the left knee back and not to force you into a shape you're not ready for yet, but really what that left hand is doing is informing us if the left knee starts to collapse inward. You don't want that. So find an action with the feet that helps you to sit really tall and ascend along the whole length of the spine and keep that upward flow as you turn toward the right. Come in and out. Start at the lowest part of the spine and belly, and then slowly build the spiral up the spine from the base to the crown. Coming in and out, balancing the weight on both buttock bones, watching that you're not leaning with the torso. So when the head goes, the tendency is for all of the weight to follow the direction that the gaze goes. And the next time that you turn and you feel like you have a nice shaped pause, that left arm is keeping the left knee in place. And then the gentle pressure of the hand to the leg acts as a slight bit of leverage. And when I say slight, I mean slight. So that it's enough that you could, on an exhale, relax all of the muscles of the torso and the spine. And then the arm and the hand and the leg pressing against one another, do the work of turning the spine any amount more. Sit tall, balance the weight, feel the fullness of the four corners of the chest. Maintain the spiraling, and as you exhale, extend over the right leg. So come in and out. Notice that it's not collapsing down. You want to keep the lift from the pubic bone to the sternum, keep the left knee stable, steady, and in place. So dividing your consciousness again. Really lift up through the pelvis to the crown of the head so the spine remains long as you extend over the right leg. The next time that you turn and extend, do a pause. Find a reasonable shape. Reasonable. Well, what does that mean? That, my friend, is up to you to decide based on what you feel. For me, reasonable means I feel a bit of a stretch, a little bit of demand for some strength, but my jaw is soft and my eyes are wide and my breath is flowing freely and easily, nice, smooth, and deep. One more nice deep breath here. Sigh it out with a little smile and inhale to rise up and unwind. And pause for just a moment. Feel what you feel. Make any necessary refinements to the foundation of your shape so that you feel stable and steady and strong. And now the right arm is going to be straight and stay there just to maintain the stability of the right knee as you turn to the left. Come in and out and start way down at the lowest part of the spine and belly that you can connect to, and then gradually grow the twist up the spine, sitting tall and balanced on both buttock bones. So it's very important when you come to the second side of the posture that you don't act as if you're picking up where you left off on the first side. When you've come in and out of the spiraling of the spine plenty of times and you feel stable and you can sustain the rotation, sustain. And then keeping that lift and extension of the spine will extend over the left leg. So draw that left low belly back. Spin the right back ribs forward and lift the sternum from the bottom to the top so that, again, you're not collapsing over the left leg, but extending. And that right arm can help you find some sense of spaciousness and mobility as it's doing a little bit of work to hold the torso in place. And then turn and extend and pause if it feels reasonable. If there's a shape that you find very challenging and you don't have the mobility or the strength yet, just keep coming in and out. Don't sustain, just touch and go. Sustaining requires some amount of flexibility and strength. And without that, it's just struggle. And that's the last thing we need our yoga practice to teach us, is how to struggle. We have enough opportunity to learn that in the rest of our life. One more nice deep breath, sigh it out with a little smile, and inhaling to rise up and unwind and pause. Release the arms down, turn the palms away once more, and inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. Drop your tail down, and then lift your heels so you're on your tippy toes. And as you drop the tail and lift the heels, get light in the legs, and then walk the toes in until you feel like there's that stable position. You'll know it when you feel it. I can't tell you where to put your feet, except that you'll want you to put your feet in the place where it makes you feel stable. And then bend the elbows. Keep some imaginary pressure between the hands, like you're holding a baby elephant above your head. You don't want it to crash down on your crown, and your hands aren't limp to hold a baby elephant. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, right elbow and knee toward one another, and inhale to release. We're going to stay on the same side, coming in and out. So there's a contraction, the muscles of the waist there. Watch that the torso and the leg are moving more or less evenly. So it's not just the torso going or just the leg coming, more or less even. Exhaling as you squeeze the limbs toward one another. They may not touch, and that's okay. One more and pause. Release the arms and the heels at any point if you start to feel fatigued. Take a deep breath in and over to the left. We're not the same side to side. So not coming in with some preconceived notion of what it will feel like or what it will look like. Coming in and out, exhaling to squeeze the limbs toward one another and really contract the muscles of the waist, not the jaw. There are hundreds of yoga poses. Not a single one is designed to strengthen the jaw. I don't care how long it takes you, but do 3 more. So you might come on every breath or every other breath. Don't be in a hurry just to get it over with. Make it 3 quality movements, and then pause and lower the heels and lower the arms and heel toe, walk the feet back in till they're hip distance apart. Good. Inhale to sweep the arms forward to come up once more. And exhale, take the arms out and wide to the horizon. Reach from the core to the periphery. So with the palms facing upward, you can really feel a buoyancy of the chest, the spiraling arms, the front of the armpit lifting and the back of the armpit and shoulder cascading down. See if you can sustain that feeling in the shoulder even as the palms face forward, even as the palms face downward, and even as the palms face backward. Now the temptation is for the shoulder to roll forward. So only go as far as you can go before the shoulder rolls forward. And take a deep breath in. As you exhale, reach the arms back and find the back of your chair. Walk the hands up as high as you can comfortably manage while maintaining expansion across the collarbone and the shoulders down. You may have to walk even further forward in your chair. With the heel of the hand at the back of the chair, on an exhalation, push the back of the chair away. Use your feet maybe to push the earth forward, to keep the front legs of the chair anchored as you push the back of the chair away, not with 100% of your energy so that you're clenching your jaw and the eyes are bugging out and you're holding your breath, but maybe 80. A good amount of energy pushing that chair away. So that's a function of the tricep muscle to straighten the arm and the back muscle to push behind you. Good, take one more deep breath here. The shape will remain the same, but we're gonna hang from the fingers. So notice how the shape of the body hardly changes, but the sensations of the pose change completely. So hold on tight, hang forward, watch that the shoulders haven't rounded forward, and then see how you use the feet and the legs this time to keep the back legs of the chair from lifting. And soften and smile and breathe. Lift the sternum, drop the tail. One more nice deep breath, sigh it out. And then as you exhale, once again, push the back of the chair away. Dynamic tension, isometric contraction, using the energy of the legs and the feet to help keep you stable and steady. Find a level of energy that you can sustain without fatiguing, without trembling, but engaged, feel it. Good, one more nice deep breath. And exhale, sigh it out and hang from your fingers once more. Shape of the body hardly changes, but as you hang from the fingers, you have the option of really tucking the chin, lengthening the back of the neck, maybe let the head hang. Watch that the collarbones don't narrow. And then you can turn the head slowly and gently from side to side. You can lift and lower the chin. Just find some slow, controlled, subtle movements of the neck here. Maybe one ear drifts toward the shoulder. Work with sensitivity. Take one more breath here. Find neutral if you're not there already. And then one more time as you exhale, push the back of the chair away. With 85% of your strength, not 100%. You don't want to work so hard that you can't sustain that dynamic energy. Pushing, 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 using the legs, scoop the tail under, find your breath and smile. One more nice deep breath, sigh it out and release. Come to sit comfortably. Rest the backs of the hands on the thighs, palms face up, maybe even close your eyes for a moment. To draw your attention inward, to scan the body and feel what you feel. And then blinking the eyes open once more. Be sure that you're stable in your chair. So if you want to move a little bit further back, you can go to the front third or maybe even the middle of the chair, but not too far back. You want some mobility. And let's bring the feet right together again. Feet, ankles, shin, knees, thighs, squeezing in. And sweep the arms out to come up. Drop the tail. So watch that you don't thrust the chest forward to get the arms up. The arms go up as a function of the upper arm bone moving through the shoulder. And then hands into prayer position right in front of the heart. Squeeze the legs together and separate the palms. Just the fingertips are touching. Shoulders are heavy, elbows are light. Sit tall. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, turn toward the right. And inhale, face forward. And exhale, turn to the left. And inhale, face forward. So your intention is to squeeze the legs together to rise up through the crown and to keep the pelvis level and balanced so that you're turning on a long, tall, straight spine like a barber pole, not a candy cane. So watch if you're leaning one way or the other and ask yourself, what would it take to stay sitting up tall and balanced? The next time that the right elbow goes back, we'll pause. Squeeze the legs together. Watch if the left knee wants to slide forward of the right. It's not wrong, but ask yourself, what would it take to draw that left thigh and hip back once more? Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, extend the arms. Reach from the core to the periphery. Expand and extend and breathe and smile. Turn. Sit tall. Reach out. One more breath. Sigh it out. Hands come together. Don't unwind. And then extend over your legs. And maybe you can hook the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. But in reality, maybe it comes to rest in the space between the knees. And maybe in reality, you need to elevate the legs to come to the elbow. So you could use your prop. So whatever position you find yourself in, just be sure that it's reasonable. Squeezing the legs together, use the feet to push the earth forward or back so that you feel stable in your pelvis and long in your spine. Left ear in line with the big toes. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, lift that right low belly up and back. Take another deep breath, and as you exhale, scoop the left back ribs under. Any amount of mobility here, but don't strain, don't stress. Turning the heart, more or less toward the thumb, and making sure that both sides of the waist stay long. So go to the left waist and lengthen from the hip to the rib. Gazing beyond the fingers, do not look back. One more breath. If it's coming along, extend the arms once more, just like we were doing a moment ago. If it's too much, just keep the hands in prayer position for one more breath. And then find the path of least resistance to unwind with intention, not just collapse. Release the arms and pause. Keep the legs squeezing together. So again, it's really about 50% of your strength, maybe 60, but not so much that you're coming into what I call the divine quiver, but not so little that you're losing that inward squeeze, and stretch the arms up. Hands into prayer position right in front of the heart. Use the thumbs to lift the sternum. Be buoyant and spacious. Separate the heel of the hand, just the fingertips touch, shoulders heavy, elbows light. Squeezing into the midline to sit tall, and exhale, turn to the left. Come in and out, and go left, and then go right. Feel what it feels like to go to the side where we spent several minutes, and what it feels like to go to the side where we have yet to spend several minutes. So you're not picking up where you left off on the first side. The next time you go to the left, pause. Use the legs and the feet as organs of action. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, extend the arms across the horizon. Watch if the right knee wants to go forward of the left. It's not right or wrong. It's just an inquiry of what it would take to keep the knees level. What happens when you try that? If it creates strain, then just let that right knee go forward. One more deep breath. Fingertips touching once more. Hands into prayer position. Keep turning and extending, particularly in that right way as you extend forward, and find a place to rest the elbow on a prop or in between the knees or to the outside of the left knee. Both outer hips drawn back and down. Gentle pressure, palm to palm. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, lift the left low belly up and back. Extend the crown forward, lengthen the spine for all it's worth. And as you exhale, scoop the right back ribs under. That gentle pressure, one palm into the other, to get the left shoulder more or less on top of the right. Gazing beyond the fingers, do not look back. Stretch the crown forward. One more breath, and then extend the arms if it's reasonable. Find an optimum shape for the next 3 slow, steady, easy breaths. And come out the same way you went in. Good. Let the feet and the knees come a comfortable distance apart. Using the muscles of the waist, you're going to walk the hips back to the center of the chair if you're not there already. And stomp your feet and swing your arms. Get the heart rate up. So we've done a lot of work to move the spine. So hopefully that allows you to really sit tall with great ease. So the invitation is coming to go at double time for 1 minute. You can stay seated, stand up. Even if you stand up and stay at halftime and march in place, it will get your heart rate up. You do not have to accept the invitation, but it's an invitation. And if you find that halfway through or midway through the minute, you can't sustain the double time pace for any longer, just go back to this half time, but don't stop moving. All the while, breathe through your nose. Let's go, double time. You can stand up and march in place at halftime. You can run in place. You can run around your house, whatever you like. Get your heart rate up for just 1 minute. Keep your jaw and your shoulders soft. Let the arms move freely. Just 1 minute, I promise. If you don't make it for a minute, that's okay. Just go back to halftime, but don't stop moving. Great, you did it, halftime. If you're standing, walk back to find the front of your chair at the backs of your legs so you know it's there, and sit down and keep marching. Stomp your feet. And then next time that the left leg pops up, grab hold. You can hold on behind the thigh or in front of the shin. Use the arms to draw the knee toward the heart. Sit tall. As the elbows go in and down, the collarbones go out and the sternum goes up. Point the toes and flex the foot. Go back and forth. The next time the toes are pointed, we'll pause. Maintain stability in the right leg and draw a slow circle type shape. So there's an imaginary magic marker on your big toe. So that as you circle the ankle, notice the shape, sensations, maybe sounds with each turning. Go slow, use muscle strength, not momentum. Sit tall, little smile. And then change the direction of the circling. Notice what happens to the shape, the sounds, and the sensation. And then pause and point and flex, point and flex. Keep the flex. Bring the hands behind the thigh. Sit tall. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, push a baby elephant away with your heel. Inhale, draw the leg in and up, and exhale, push the baby elephant away. Use the right leg for added strength, not the jaw. Keep the jaw soft. In reality, your baby elephant may be miniature, much closer to the earth, but it's still very, very heavy. Lots of resistance. So hugging the muscles in toward the bone. Maybe you can do 1 or 2 without your hands and without your jaw. And then again, maybe not, and who cares? And the next time that you bend the knee, we'll pause. Take a hold in front of the shin if you're not already, and slide the right hand down the shin. Flex the ankle. Identify your outer ankle bone and put it somewhere to the outside of your shin. Now, in reality, you may have to extend that right leg. The more you take this away from this, the easier it will be. You also might find that it's more reasonable to cross at the shins. But if you're able to bring it above the knee joint and onto the thigh, by all means do that. And then find the position of that right foot that's just right for you. Keep this ankle flex. That is non-negotiable. You should have no pull, no resistance, no tension in the inner knee. And then use the hands to externally rotate the skin muscle flesh of that left thigh so that the buttocks is moving toward the right. Good, find the length and lift in the spine. Sit tall and maybe a little swaying side to side. So again, watch, our temptation is often to create a massive ball of tension in the hip and clench and hold and wait for something to happen. Nothing's going to happen except that you're going to run out of breath and feel fatigued. So you have to find a position that's reasonable. And then somewhere in this range, a little bit more intense, a little bit less intense, you're going to find your optimum, and then we'll pause there. So keeping this foot flexed, keeping all of the length of the spine, so that again, as you come forward, we're extending forward, not collapsing downward. So it doesn't matter how far you go, but lift from the pubic bone to the sternum. So the back body is moving in and up. Coming in and out makes it easier. Identify your edge, the place where the body no longer stops or no longer has movement, where the body stops, and pause there. And then check in to make sure that you really identified your edge at the moment that you met your edge, not a moment after. All right, so the temptation is to blast past our edge until we really feel sensation, strong resistance. But that's too late. Then that's the body resisting you going in this direction, and tension comes. So we want to pause the moment we reach our edge before the tension comes, where the body feels as though it has to protect itself from you. And then we breathe. And we turn our attention in particular in the inhalation to spread the consciousness, to scan the body, to help us identify precisely where the tension is. And then the next inhalation, bring your breath to that place of tension. And this may be your first time attempting such a thing and you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about. Don't worry about it. The first time, just do your best, and then it will come with practice. And then the exhalation is the invitation to soften. So as you breathe into the area of tension, there's this sense of spaciousness that comes to what was once rigid. And then there's a little bit of releasing that can happen as a result of that spaciousness and that softness. It's tiny, it's incremental, the smallest amount of improvement. And then inhale with a heavy tail and a light heart, rise up. Take the whole left shin right across to relax the left leg completely in the support of the right leg. So again, in reality, you may have to have the leg extended. You might be crossed more at the ankle. If the hip doesn't allow this adduction and flexion. Squeeze the ankles together. Squeeze the shins together. Squeeze those thighs together, but not by gripping the inner thigh muscles, right? Tuck the buttocks under. And maybe you can tuck the left toes behind the right shin, and maybe not, who cares? But release the arms down, turn the palms away and take the arms to shoulder height. With the left leg on top, we want the right arm on top. You can give yourself a nice big hug, not up here by your neck, but by your rib cage, and walk and wiggle and get those arms around you, nice big hug. Maybe you can find the inner edges of your shoulder blades. Maybe. This may be your optimum shape, but if the elbows are stacked nicely and the left elbow can hold the right elbow, then the right arm can relax. You've got to be at the upper arm bone. If you're at the forearm, it's not going to be the same. So unless you're at the upper arm bone, then you just stay in a hug, and then the right arm can lift and lower. And it depends on the mobility of the shoulder, where the arm will go. Don't try to force. If you come close, but you can't close the gap, you could use your strap to create tension between the hands so that you close the gap, you feel that tension, and then you have a closed chain of energy. So you can create tension on the strap. That closed chain of energy helps you to feel a complete circuit. Maybe the palms come together. Squeeze the legs together. Put a rainbow paintbrush on your elbow point and inhale, reach out to come up. And exhale, reach out to come forward, and then curling in as if the elbows would come to the navel. Inhale, reach out to come up. And exhale, reach out to come forward. So the torso is moving. Not just the shoulders going, the shoulders and the arms are going, but the torso, the spine is in flexion and extension as you move through. And we've all seen a rainbow in the sky. Even the tiniest rainbow is such a delight. So don't worry about trying to make your rainbow so big that there's just tension and discomfort. And then pause in the middle. Take the hands away from the forehead if you're wrapped up. If you're still in your hug, that's fine. But we're gonna lean and rock, get a little momentum so that the feet lift, still squeezing the legs together. And then one time when that heel comes down, we're gonna sustain. Squeeze into the midline, press down in the heel, breathe. Draw the belly in and up, dynamic tension as if you were gonna hover up out of the chair, and maybe you do. Stay for 3 breaths, so that way you're not holding your breath, and soften something somewhere. You've had 3 breaths, release that dynamic tension, release the low body, and then release the upper body, and pause. So that's a big one. Deep breath in. Stomp your feet and swing your arms. Here we go. Stomping your feet, hammering the heels down to stimulate bone growth, stimulate the white marrow, the white blood cells. They're reproducing, tonifying to help strengthen our immune system. Swinging the arms to disperse the energy that's created by the big muscles of the lower limb and to get the lymphatic fluid moving through the body. The invitation is coming. Let's go, double time. Or not, you decide what's in your best interest, but get your heart rate up. Soften everything and breathe through your nose. You can stay seated at double time, stand up and just march in place at half time, jog in place or run around your house as you like. If you don't make it for the full minute, just go back to half time. Don't stop moving. Stay with yourself. Just a few more seconds. Good, half time, well done. If you're standing, walk back to your chair. You can feel the chair there. You know it's there. Sit down and stomp. When the right leg pops up, grab hold. Use the arms to draw the knee toward the heart. Sit tall. Elbows in and down. Use the left foot and leg for support. Point the toes. Flex the foot. Go back and forth. The next time you point the toes, pause. Put a magic marker on your big toe and slowly draw a circle type shape. Use muscle strength, not momentum. And notice the shape, sensations, maybe some sounds. Sounds are fine so long as they're not accompanied by pain. One more time in this direction, and then change the direction and see what happens. Slow it down. Feel everything. And then pause, point, and flex one more time. Hold the flex. Hold on in front of the shin if you're not, or excuse me, behind the thigh if you're not already. Sit up tall. Take a deep breath in and push that baby elephant away. Inhale, draw the knee in and up. So we're not kicking the elephant, pushing. So your attention is at your heel and you imagine that there's resistance there. It's all imaginary. I have a very active imagination. I hope you do too. Push, push, push. Using that left leg to offer its strength for stability. Hugging the muscles in toward the bone. Pause at any time. Might be lower, doesn't matter. Maybe 1 or 2 without your hands and without your jaw. And the next time that you draw that knee in, hold on in front of the shin, keep the foot flexed and slide the left hand down. Identify the outer ankle bone and put it to the outside of your thigh. You don't want it on your thigh, then you're crushing the thigh muscle in between the two bones. Find the position of that left leg and foot that's just right, and then use the hands to externally rotate the skin muscle flesh. So the head of the femur is diving deeper and deeper into the hip. If you lack that amount of mobility and you try to force, then you're going to feel the stress in the inner knee. So this joint is going to take the stress of this joint not moving. So be very mindful of what you feel in the inner knee and make sure that it's comfortable. Sit tall and maybe a little swaying side to side, a little exploration. Watch that the heel wants to go back behind you. So send it forward. Ooh, you'll see why you didn't want to do that. And then find in that range somewhere a nice position, just right. Lift from the pubic bone to the sternum, leading literally and figuratively with your heart. Come forward any amount. Any amount. Might be none at all. The more you bring this to this, the more demand there is for release in the hip. You cannot force a rose to bloom. So you've got to meet yourself right where you are with compassion, especially if you're feeling a little bit of an injury or a twinge or a pull, or you're not at the tippy top of your game. Then the temptation is to not come to yoga practice. That is the absolute wrong thing to do. You just have to back off and meet yourself where you are. And then one time when you find your forward extension, any amount, we're going to pause. So find a shape that's reasonable. It's curious, it's intriguing, there's resistance, but there's not this big ball of tension, right? The breath can move and you can feel the subtle movements of the body in response to the movement of the breath. Right? Like, what does it feel like to inhale deeply in this position? How far through the whole of the body can you send your intelligence with the inhalation? And then what does it feel like to exhale completely after that deep inhale? Riding the wave of the breath. One more deep breath here. Inhaling to rise up, and then use the hands to cross that right leg right over the left leg. So it's relaxing completely. The right leg is passive, supported by the left leg, and squeeze the ankles together. Maybe you can tuck the toes behind the shin. That compacting action, hips, thighs, knees, shins, ankles, all squeezed together, and inhale to take the arms up. And then just to shoulder height, reach across the horizon, and with the left arm on top, slowly build the pose. You're not picking up where you left off on the first side. Walk the hands back and around, and only if the right elbow can hold the left elbow, then you can begin to grow your eagle arm. And maybe the strap would help to close the gap between the hands if the backs of the hands don't come together, and then the palms together. So you find your optimum shape. We're squeezing the legs and the arms, but not the jaw and not the eyes. Drop the tail, lift the heart, and put your rainbow paintbrush on your elbow points. Inhale, reach out to come up any amount. And exhale, reach forward to curl in toward the navel. So the whole spine is flexing and extending as you squeeze the limbs in toward the midline. So the spine is moving here, back bend and then forward fold. Go slowly and with control. One more time, all the way through. And then find a neutral position for your spine and your body, squeezing arms and legs. And then we're going to do that rocking back and forth, lifting the legs, leaning back, rocking. And then one time when you come forward, down in the heel, up in the crown, squeezing in, lift the floor of the pelvis, Mula Bandha. Draw the belly in and up. Breathe, squeezing arms and legs, not jaw, not eyes, little smile, 3 more breaths. If you're holding your breath, that's going to take a long time. When you've had 3, release the dynamic tension. Release the legs. Plant the feet and release the arms slowly. Rest the backs of the hands on the thighs. Pause. Resist the temptation to shake the energy out. Sit with that strong prana. We want to build a container strong enough to withstand strong energy. You can keep your hands resting right here where they are, or draw them together in prayer position in front of the heart once more. Take a deep breath in and sit tall, and as you exhale, allow the eyes to gently close. So the upper eyelid simply floats down and comes to rest on the lower eyelid, sitting down and sitting up. And rest. So if you need to sit back and use the back of the chair, by all means. The time for working has come and gone. This is the time for resting. So rest completely. Go inward. And as you rest here, scanning the body, noticing everything, consider this poem by Dana Fodds titled Allow. She writes, "There is no controlling life. Try corralling a lightning bolt containing a tornado. Dam a stream and it will create a new channel. Resist and the tide will sweep you off your feet. Allow and grace will carry you to higher ground. The only safety lies in letting it all in, the wild with the weak, fear, fantasies, failures, and success. When loss rips off the doors of the heart, or sadness veils your vision with despair, practice becomes simply bearing the truth in the choice to let go of your known way of being. The whole world is revealed to your new eyes. Take one more deep breath in, sit tall, and as you exhale, tuck the chin, bow just ahead. Taking a moment to bow to your own divine light, to bow to the deep well of your heart, to bow to the greatest teacher of all, the one that resides in the deep well of your heart. Taking just a moment to acknowledge your own magnificence, not in an egotistical or self-aggrandizing way, but in awe of what it took to create you, to bring you to this very moment, this point in your life, every moment that came before. To consider that never, ever, ever before, since the dawn of man, has there been one just like you. And never, ever, ever again, in the whole of the world, Will there ever be another one just like you? So in awe and celebration, let's join our voices once more in the sacred sound of Om. Inhaling as the head floats up and sigh it out. And inhale to chant. Om. Hare Om. Shanti, peace, shalom, salam. The unique bright light in me recognizes the same in you. And to that I bow. Namaste, my friends. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Thank you for sharing your practice with me.